Lisa with Unexplained. We're back again with a three-part series. We're really excited for this one. We're going to be talking about urban legends, three different ones. And today we're going to be talking about the legend of Bloody Mary. Now, I know that I have some stories when I was little about this. It's like the very first urban legend that I've ever heard of. I know Lisa has some stories. We didn't know we each had stories, so we're going to share that with you guys today and each other. And then we're going to see who is this Bloody Mary? Why is she an urban legend? How many identities does she have? Because with our research, she has quite a few. So hopefully you guys will be interested and it's going to be a good one.
So yes, Maggie, I do have a story, and it happened when I was in elementary. It's a little cute story. It may sound a little scary, but it has to do with Bloody Mary. So, of course, as kids, we were all into that Bloody Mary scary stuff and all different kind of urban legends. Bloody Mary did pop up in our conversation, and we were in the girls' gym locker, and there was like this huge horizontal mirror that we went ahead and did Bloody Mary. I went ahead and said it first. We turn off the lights. Some girls hid in the stalls where you can use the bathroom. So I did the Bloody Mary 3 times and nothing happened. But days later, 3 girls wanted to fight me in that same gym locker, and it was over something petty. It was just like some kind of little petty kid stuff. So I didn't turn them down. I know I didn't want to fight one of them because of my best friend. She was friends with that girl. But hey, if we're gonna fight, we're gonna fight. So
right.
The first girl that came at me, she came at me by that same mirror that I did Bloody Mary in. So when she came at me, I grabbed her by the neck and threw her, and she flew by the benches we had in there. She gets up, goes to that mirror, and says, "That bitch scratched my neck." Man, there was a scratch on her neck. So it was, that stopped the whole fight. But it was just like a coincidence and something that lingered in my mind, that maybe the legend is real for some people.
My story is kind of similar. It was actually in elementary school. Like I was little. I remember it was first grade, and I don't know who mentioned it or whatever the case was, but I remember in my head we all knew how to invoke her. We all knew who she was and what she did. So I remember it was our restroom break time and we were all in line, and that was back when they would like let a couple of girls at a time go to the restroom. They come out, go back in line. So they let a couple of girls go in the bathroom, and we just did it in front of the mirror. We said her name 3 times. And what age are you in first grade? Like 7, 6, 7? And we all did it. Like I remember someone turned the lights off, and then we did it, and then after we were done, someone started screaming. We all got in trouble, needless to say. But I mean, it goes to show that this legend has been around for so long that even like kids in elementary schools as young as 7 years old do this like urban legend ritual. It's crazy how the I don't know if you want to say rumor, but the legend spreads and everybody knows about it. But if you don't know about it, the legend goes that if you go in front of a mirror, it's typically in a bathroom or somewhere like that, with the candle, you look in the mirror and you say her name 3 to 10 times. It just depends on what you're reading. And she's supposed to either come out and scratch your eyes. She either comes out with like screaming, or she tries to attack you. there's different kinds of versions of the story, but that's the gist of it. During research, I did find out like different, I guess, back tales to her, and they are all really different. Did you get the different stories too?
Yes, yeah. I was looking at all, I think I read about three different stories where it may have originated from.
Yeah.
And I'm leaning toward King Henry VIII's daughter. And the reason why I think it may be her is because I read something about someone writing Bloody Mary on her casket. Did you hear anything about that?
No, I didn't. I'd heard the backstory about who she was and how in the end of her story, if we want to get into the story, we can, but in the end of the story, that she slayed a bunch of people for their religious background, and that's why they called her Bloody Mary. This was King Henry VIII's daughter, illegitimate daughter.
Yes, she was born in 1516 to King Henry VIII, and her mother was named Catherine. And she went through a whole bunch of traumatic events. And it's documented that she had health problems, which caused her to have these horrible stomach aches. She went through a terrible childhood. And from what she was born into, it was the norm for her to see people be put to death and executed. That was something that I believe more people are now sympathetic to her because of what she was born into and what she had to go through during her time that she was living, because she was no more bloodier than her father, who executed two of his wives.
Right.
And she was determined to reign as queen. It went as far as overthrowing her cousin with the help of the people in the community. They helped so she can become queen. But I believe the reason why it made such an impact in our society just centuries later is not because of the way she ruled, because, like I said, the rulers were no more bloodier as her father. It's how she came about ruling with an iron fist. She came out with a vengeance. She had a bone to pick. She was upset that a woman took the role of her mother's position. And back in the day, divorce wasn't really a thing like it is nowadays. It was looked down upon. It was not even mentioned among people. It was just a taboo thing. So she looked at this woman who was of a different faith as someone who destroyed her family life. And it caused her so much stress and anguish, because when that woman named Anne took the role of her mother as queen, the father treated Mary in a different manner. Mary was expected to be a queen. You know, her mother groomed her like a male, like she was teaching her Latin. Back then it was like a male language, and her mother just groomed her to reign like a male figure. She had that mindset to rule. It never left her. So when her mother died in 1536, she was so upset. And there were rumors that her father and his new wife, Anne, had something to do with it. They may have poisoned her. So she was really upset at Anne. And that same year, the father decided to execute Anne. So she was pretty happy about it. And so were some of the people, because they felt she was a homewrecker and they didn't like Mary. They didn't look at her as a noble queen.
In order to get the marriage previously annulled, King Henry VIII created a religion called the Protestants. And because of that, he was able to get out of his marriage with Catherine. And because he did annul the marriage with Catherine, Mary was no longer his daughter per se. He didn't want anything to do with her. And that alone's traumatic, going your whole life as royalty, and now you're at the same level as a servant, because that's exactly what he treated her as, had to have been traumatic. And eventually, King Henry VIII, obviously insane, killed Anne because she could not bear a son for him. And that's when the rulings of, or when did it start with who was going to rule? Is it when Henry VIII died?
I believe so because he had a son named Henry, and then he died shortly after his
With
father.
another wife, right?
Yeah, and then the son didn't choose Mary to rule.
Right, the
He
cousin.
chose the cousin.
Yeah, after that, she overruled the cousin. I think she was on the throne for, what was it, like 9 months or something? Really, really short.
Yeah, I think it was like 9 days.
Yeah, 9 days. Really, really short. And she finally got her seat on the throne because the the majority, the people, they wanted a bloodline on the throne. They wanted someone like that to rule the country. So she finally got her wish, and she ruled with an iron fist. Religion back then was the biggest thing, and if you weren't Catholic, she did execute you. There are rumors where they say that it went as far as her burning down towns, burning people at the stake. There was a rumor saying that she burned a pregnant woman, and during this woman's death, while she's burning, she gave birth to the baby, and she burned the baby as well. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, those are the crazy things that she supposedly did, and which earned her the nickname Bloody Mary. Also, like, I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but she did go through, like Lisa said, the terrible pain, like menstrual cramps, endometriosis, and they said that she possibly died from either cervical or uterine cancer because of it. So that can that can have something to do with her name as well. So there's the that I me and Lisa think are like the biggest that's the biggest player of who can possibly be Bloody Mary. There are other stories about Bloody Mary. There's one, Mary Worth. There's actually two stories about a Mary Worth. One is Mary Worth was a young lady who got pregnant, was not happy about it, but she did keep her child, and then she ended up loving the baby. And one night when she woke up, in the middle of the night, she found her baby murdered, in a state of panic, and I guess just like, yeah, I'm guessing you're not thinking right, you're not seeing right, you're not, if you see that. So she goes to the bathroom, she stares in the mirror, and she stabs herself. That's one version. And then the second version of Mary Worth is someone back in the old like witch days. Mary Worth was a white witch. She would heal people in their village, like especially children if they were sick. She would give them holistic medicine, is what we would call it now. So she would be a white witch. And she would heal the people, heal the kids with the holistic medicine. And I guess the kids started becoming missing, and they did an investigation, and they found the kids' bodies in all different areas of her house. It claims to be that she was actually innocent, that, till this day, people think that she was innocent, even though they found the bodies in her house, but they burned her at the stake. So that's another Mary Worth story. There's
I
so
think
many
that's
urban legends about around her. I don't know.
I think they were saying she bathed in children's blood so she can so her youth can linger on
Oh,
longer.
is that what it was? That's the thing. Oh,
Yes, that she lured them in. But I'm wondering why they thought she was innocent if those kids were dead in her own
yeah.
home.
The research that I found was that it would always say Mary Worth was known to be innocent, even though they found they found the bodies of the kids in her house. I don't know. But those are pretty much the biggest stories that we have surrounding Bloody Mary and the urban legend.
Yeah, if I had to choose out of one of those three Marys, I would definitely choose Queen Mary the First, because just because of the fear that lingered for centuries and the link between her killing uh, people that were Christians, Baptist, and Pentecostal. She was after those type of people,
Yeah.
and right now in this country, that's the dominant faith. So I can see why people would connect her to wanting to hurt them, because she didn't like that faith. So she would actually burn those people of that faith. And I think there's like a connection why they have just so much fear from her.
It's crazy though, like when you think about this urban legend, like, and then you think about the different stories that it's connected to, the stories that I just told and the stories that we were talking about, there's no direct correlation to the, I guess, the urban legend of what she does, because apparently she scratches your eyes out. Why would she scratch your eyes out? Mary Worth stabbed herself, right? The first one. The second one was burnt at the stake. The third one died of probably cancer. And yeah, she like burned people and everything, but it really has nothing to do with scratching your eyes out or appearing in a mirror. Why do you think that's in the urban legend? Do you think it's just because it's kind of a creepy way to invoke someone, or do you think it has a direct correlation with who the person was? That's the only thing that I'm like, because when we go on investigations, we always ask why, like what's the reason, what's the history, why are they here, what makes them, still linger. It questions it just, I don't know, it puts that question in my head as to why they're, I don't like saying the name out loud.
Right?
It begs the question as to why this person is like showing up in the mirror when you say their name 3 times.
Mhm.
Why the rumor is that, they come, I don't know, in whatever form through the mirror.
Yeah,
Just
some
makes me
people
wonder.
believe that the mirror is some kind of portal. So I guess they affiliate that with reaching out to people of the past. That's what
Okay.
I'm thinking. That's why they use the mirror. But you are so right about the scratching. Where does that even come from?
I don't
I know
know.
I think they did find some Mary that had her fingers removed or something. I'm
Hmm.
I came across some kind of Mary, so I don't know if maybe that's where it comes from. But some people also said that they seen Mary in the mirror holding a baby.
Yeah,
So
I
that
did
makes
hear
me
that one, and that's probably correlating to the one first story of the Mary Worth.
uh,
I mean, I guess it can correlate to both,
oh,
because the first one was the one where the baby died in the night, and then Mary Worth, I don't think we touched on this, but Mary Worth did really want to have a baby to the point where she was exhibiting signs of pregnancy, like she was showing her belly was swollen and everything like that. When the time came, she never had the baby. And there is a condition to where your mind tricks your body into thinking that you're pregnant, to where you can like have all of the symptoms of pregnancy, but you really aren't. So history thinks that that's what happened to Mary, the Queen of England, and she just never was able to have a child, and they think it's because of her endometriosis or cancer that it ended up being later on in life. So, which is really sad if you think about it. Like she went through all this stress early in life, and then to end up like that, it's really sad.
yeah. So tell us your stories, guys. Did you play Bloody Mary in the mirror with your friends or by yourself. Let us know what happened. Did anything happen?
Did
Let us know in
anything
the
happen?
comments.
Because I mean, the stories that we had, we did it, nothing really happened. Like with Lisa's story, there was a little coincidence of a scratch, you know, back to the urban legend of the scratching the eyes out. So maybe that has some correlation. So if you guys did it, please let us know what happened, if anything happened. This urban legend's been going on for I don't know how long. I mean, I knew about it when I was 7 years old. So, I mean, and it's so funny that this is still going on. I wonder if they talk about it in elementary schools today. You know, I wish I could go into an elementary school and ask a kid, "Hey, have you ever heard have you ever heard of Bloody Mary?" Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't think urban legends ever die. Thank
you're
you
right.
guys so much for watching this episode of Unexplained. Please let us know your stories. We would love to hear them. This is only the first part of 3 urban legends that we have. Stay tuned for the next one. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe to our channel, and we will see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.